Hey there! Start here. We're going to be taking down the Queen and the King of the Feymarch. That's Queen Asura and King Leviathan. Final Fantasy IV is one of my favorites from the series, so this is, this was really cool getting to come in here and do these fights. They were kind of rough in the original game. Unfortunately, they are quite squishy on this one. Definitely not nearly as difficult as the fights in the original game. But anyways, we're gonna get in here and we're gonna do both of these real quick and easy. Queen of the Feymarch is, they're both fairies. She has no innate weaknesses, but she absorbs fire, ice, lightning, water, and wind. So don't use any of those elements. We are going to be going dark element on this one. So you can do earth, light, or dark, and we're going to be doing dark element on this one. She counters when dealt physical or magical damage, but you can provoke those. So we're going to use Runda to provoke all the physical damage. You could also just use him to cover the physical damage. Either way, the damage is not very much here, and all of her damage is physical, whereas Leviathan's damage is all magical. So yeah, pretty easy to do. No items, no deaths, no continues. That's really easy peasy. And the nice thing about this one is you can bring a friend unit and just slaughter it. I'm going to show you that you can do it without a friend unit. I'm just going to take a team of 5. Very budget team, my EX+0 Esther, fairly budgetized. And yeah, here's the team we're going to work with. Runda is, best tank. And so he, standard tank gear, nothing too fancy going on here. Pretty much the same stuff I always put on him. He doesn't need all of this, honestly. He doesn't have to be all that tanky. The incoming damage is going to be practically nil. Esther, fairly budget build here. You got blue mage dress. That's got the 100% fairy killer, which is very, very useful for these fights. That comes from Blue Mage Fina. If you haven't done the Season 3 story, you may not have this. And so, you'll just have to make up for it somewhere else, either in the materia or whatnot, but that should be fairly easy to do. The materia, we've got Indestructible Light with the chain cap up, Battle Intelligence has 50% Fairy Killer, and then Spirit Killer Plus. Ling's card, just for the nice budget card there, and that should get us at 300 Fairy, 300 LB damage. She is good to go. Cacteria doesn't need anything. This is just the standard gear I always have in her. She's not going to do any damage. You do want an EX+1 Cacteria on this fight because she has a perfect dispel skill in her Brave Shift form that's going to be useful on turn 2 to get rid of the defense buff. So an EX1 on this fight is definitely good. Otherwise, just bring some other form, another unit that has like a perfect dispel on them, and that should be fine. Bulwark doesn't need anything fancy. Literally, he can be naked. If you just want to give him something like Call of the Wild to make sure he has enough LB to do the Fairy Killer, that's all he really needs. All right. Elena is just a chain slave. She's not going to do any appreciable damage, but here, I didn't even give her killers. I didn't even bother to give her killers on this one because she's not going to contribute really anything. And this is all Esther's game. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And we're basically going to take this exact same team into Leviathan's fight as well. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to switch Runda out, and we're going to put Phasey in Runda's place, and that'll be easy peasy. So let's go ahead and get in here and see how we get this done. All right. So yeah, Runda can just do his LB. Bulwark is going to be our Dark Imbue, so Shadow Serenade, and then Moop's Melody for the Fairy Killer. Alright, Elena, we'll just do Way of the Aurora for the LB fill, Piercing Prism, Crystal Refraction. Esther will do Energizing Bunny, followed by Calm Before the Storm and Bolting Slice. Before you do that, let's have Cacteria do Power Breaking, Mental Breaking, and Armor Breaking Needles. Alright, do not use Million Needle Assault on this turn. That's what does the perfect dispel, so we're going to need to save that for next turn. Alright, so go ahead and have her break, and then we can do our attack. Okay. And there you go, there are the counters. And that's literally, you know, she does a couple of physical hits and that's pretty much it. But you saw she did protect. All right, so she does have the defense buff on her now. All right, and it is a fairly substantial buff, so you definitely want to get rid of it if you've got a budget team. If your team is, you know, totally overpowered, then don't even bother. But Million Needle Assault will remove that. Okay. Yep, so now it's gone. Perfect. And now Esther and Elena can just chain it up. Easy peasy. All right. Yeah, definitely a lot easier than the original fight. Remember in the original Final Fantasy, you had to put Reflect on Asura because she kept healing herself. And so you put Reflect on Asura so that her heals bounced off her and onto your team, and that way you could actually do enough damage to kill her. It was kind of a fun fight because, you know, you had to make sure to keep doing those heals, doing the Reflect and make sure that the Reflect stayed up. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, so even my EX+0 Esther doing way more than enough to kill this boss. Too easy. Alright, so now let's move on to Leviathan. So this one you cannot take a friend, but as you can see, you're not going to need it, even with an EX+0 Esther. So this is our 3000 lapis fight. I love these. I'm glad we got another one. I always love seeing 3000 lapis on the rewards. You even get a master's crown if you do it in 5 turns or less, which is very easy. We're going to do this in 2 turns with a budget team. All right. He's also a fairy. Sorry, I should have gone back real quick and just done the little strategy guide. So he's a fairy as well, weak to lightning and light, so Esther's going to love it. He absorbs ice and water, so don't use those 2 elements. And then at the beginning of the battle, activates an area effect that lowers ice and water. Now, at the moment, as of the making of this video, this is bugged. It does not actually do an area effect. And so you can actually, if you do this right now, you can bring in a tank with strictly 100% ice and water resistance, and they will take 0 damage. There are no imperils of any kind, so none of his attacks actually imperil ice or water. He's simply relying on the field that doesn't actually exist. So yeah, very easy to get this one done. So you can see I'm going to switch over to my other team. Whoops, not that one, that one. Yeah, so you see we've just taken out Runda and put in Phasey. You can use any magic take you want here. It doesn't have to be Phasey. I'm taking an EX+0 Phasey, like a dupe that was lying around. I literally just picked up a dupe Phasey that was lying around. The only thing I put on her was Shiva Esper for ice resistance and Honor of Grand Shelt. She is literally completely naked besides those 2 things, so that she has 100% ice, 100% water. That is all you need. Now with that said, if Gumi comes in and patches the bug, and the area effect does go into effect on like a later date, you may need to gear her for more resists. But Phasey is a really good choice because she gears for water very, very easily, and then, you know, you can focus more on the ice element. Very easy to get those resists up. I think when I actually built her for those resists, I was able to get her at 400% to both fairly easily, and that should be more than enough. But right now, all you need is 100%, and she will take 0 damage. All right, I'm not going to show you the rest of the team gear because it is literally exactly the same as what we did against the Queen. All right, so let's go ahead and get in there. Alright, so here's that area effect. It says it reduces ice and water resistance, but there's no imperil. You see Phasey is still sitting at 100% to both ice and water, so we are good to go. All she has to do is cover. Alright, Bulwark, this time all he has to do is the Fairy Killer, because we're going to go Lightning Element on this one. So there's Fairies, Moop's Melody. Alright, Cacteria. On this one you can actually get away with an EX+0 Cacteria. You don't have to worry about the perfect dispel, so I'm just going to leave her in normal form to prove that an EX+0 Cacteria gets this done. So we'll just do Magic Breaking, Armor Breaking, Mental Breaking. Alright, Elena. We'll do Electrifying Innervation, Way of the Aurora for the LB Fill and Piercing Prism. Esther can do True Storm Brand for the Imbue and Imperil. Energizing Bunny, and Calm Before the Storm. Alright. And Phasey will just do Rip Current and Splash Fight. All right. Now there's a chance, since I'm using my budget Esther, that she won't actually kill him this turn, and that's okay. We've got 5 turns to do it, so let's just see how far we get on this one. Yeah, no worries. All right, I am not worried about that at all. We're just going to re-up the Fairy Killer. Here we go, Moop's Melody again. Cacteria doesn't have to do anything. Phasey doesn't have to do anything. Okay, yep. There you go, too easy. And then, yeah, we're just going to set up for another burst. So we'll do Way of the Blossom to fill up that LB. Piercing Prism. We can give Quantum Storm to Cacteria. Actually, nope, don't do that. Yeah, I made that mistake one time and it didn't fill Esther's LB all the way. Yeah, definitely do Double Bolting and Magnus to fill up that LB. We'll just do Moop's Melody again, just to make sure the Fairy Killer's up. Yep, Cacteria and they can guard. All right, we're gonna kill him the next turn. Again, if your Esther is really strong, she'll annihilate it. If you bring Paladin Sylvie, you'll definitely kill on turn 2. No question about it. So yeah, very, very easy 3k Lapis this week. And there you go, we're just gonna LB the night away. Too easy. Alright, so yeah, easy 3k Lapis. Definitely go in there and get that one. Let's see, how'd she do? Yeah, too easy. Alright, all missions, excellent. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys, and stay tuned. I'm going to be working on my Cerberus clears. So, you know, we got the new 12 types trial against Cerberus, so be looking out for those. I'm going to do a couple of different clears. It's definitely not as difficult as the Rafflesia trial, so I think I'll be able to do several different clears. You've probably seen some videos out there already using the new NVA Golbez, who is just like super strong, and he's able to take this trial down. So I'm of course going to take my best girl Esther in there and do some fun clears with her. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you on the other side.